Let's go now to our friend Bimnet Abibi from Galaxy Trading. As always, Bimnet, welcome to Galaxy Brains.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, we are in the midst of a historic move right now. Truly. I mean, we're up. Bitcoin's up about 20% in 3 days alone. You can see over my shoulder, we're in the mid 62,000.
63K. Let's call it.
Apparently,
63.
the block clock is a little bit behind.
It's a little delayed at 63K here.
I mean, this is Mike Novogratz, the CEO of Galaxy, tweeted this morning that we're effectively in price discovery now. I'm assuming he means that's because we weren't really above this level in 21 for more than a day or two or a couple of days. What are your takeaways from what you're seeing in the market?
I think this is a revaluation of the entire space in its entirety. I think folks are seeing the dramatic flow figures from the Bitcoin ETFs, and they're just extrapolating that forward. And when you start to extrapolate that forward on an asset that has supply that is going to be shrinking and demand that's apparently increasing,
yeah, it seems
the math gets pretty easy.
Yeah,
and it's very easy for tons of folks to digest. And basically now everybody that's ever bought Bitcoin is in the money. Like almost everyone.
Almost everyone, yeah.
And so that leads to this positive feedback loop of, oh my God, price is up. Why? Because the thesis is really good. So just buy more. Price goes up, and you end up in this spiral of a positive feedback loop, and it just ends up sending the price higher. And now you've got the ETF bids to support this price action. And so, I think this is, like Novo said, we are in price discovery mode. And I think you're going to be talking about Bitcoin all-time highs pretty soon. If not within the week, potentially at this rate.
Yeah.
But it has been dramatic. And it is a deeply liquid asset class, and it is now been institutionalized by BlackRock and Fidelity and Invesco and all of these places, and now basically every asset manager on the planet is short upside in this asset because you have no justification for not being somewhat allocated anymore.
Yeah, they used to be able to say, well, we can't go to Coinbase or we can't use a crypto exchange for our clients, but now, it's just a ticking clock. Have
fun staying poor.
If I have an advisor, it's so true. If I have an advisor, I'm calling up the phone being like, why aren't we in this, right? And the reality is a lot of them can't get into it yet.
Exactly. And so when those floodgates open, where's the price going to be? So, my price targets for Bitcoin and ETH, through year end are pretty high, north of 100K for Bitcoin. And I'm thinking ETH can get through all-time highs as well, maybe 7,500. 8,000 area.
Wow.
Because the ETF narrative is going to pick up now. And, you're going to have lots of hiccups along the road, 10, 20% corrections here and there.
Yeah.
But the trend is supremely evident.
Yeah, I think in, I don't remember the number in 21, but in 2017, I believe there were 20% corrections on the way to all-time high.
Yeah.
So, that's a big correction.
Yeah. And given where funding is and OI and the leverage profile in the crypto complex, you are very susceptible to corrections. At the same time, we're running out of sellers.
I know.
There's a lot of buyers of this stuff.
It appears. I think we continue to be surprised. At this point now I'm conditioned to it, but the amount of inflows into these ETFs has been truly stunning. Stunning. It took a little while to get going at first. There was a lot of internal capital in the beginning. It seemed a little lackluster for the first week or two. But now we've been looking, I think 21 of the last 22 days were inflows. And the one that wasn't was minus 30 million or something.
Nothing.
And we're recording on
Yesterday,
Wednesday.
IBIT had
Tuesday,
500.
Yeah, Tuesday, BlackRock's alone had 500 plus. It was their biggest day.
Yeah.
The complex overall, it was the third largest day. And then Monday, the day before, had been the third largest day. So now it's the fourth largest day.
Yeah.
So the bid has been quite relentless.
Yes.
I guess the question that I've been asking, and I wrote about this a little bit today, was, we've never seen Bitcoin perform at this level at this stage pre-halving. So we're 52 days out from the expected halving date. The prior halving, Bitcoin was down over 60% from its all-time high at this stage pre-halving. Yeah. The one before was about 59%.
No model had the ETF flows, though. That's the big difference. Right? When you combine literally the most innovative financial product we've had in generations with the best capital market ever, right? You get the Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin needs no marketing. You don't need no Super Bowl ads. Everybody already knows about it. And all people need to see is price going up to want to participate. And I'm just sitting here, one, it's kind of shocking where we've come from. I mean, I remember doing these podcasts with that block clock sub 20K.
I remember, yeah.
Being very depressed.
Really not that long ago, a year ago.
It was a year and change. Yeah, maybe. And but anyway, the point is the people that haven't caught this, they feel FOMO. The people sitting in lackluster assets like gold, pardon the pun, are probably like, man, am I allocated to the wrong fiat debasement hedge right now?
Yeah.
Probably.
I saw an analyst from a major Wall Street research firm this morning on TV straight up saying like, yeah, with talking macro, nothing about crypto.
Yeah.
And just being like, yeah, for macro hedges, we talk about gold, dollars, and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And they were like, not treasuries. They were like, no, he said Bitcoin appears to be a much better hedge against fiat debasement. This is not a Bitcoin person.
And this is consistent across most of my macro conversations. Bitcoin is part of that macro narrative now, and it is not going away.
You can't put this back in the box.
The genie is out.
It has been, just in the last couple of days, it's felt a little bit parabolic, right? It'd be reasonable to see some consolidation or like a near-term correction, right? I mean, because it's been shocking. I think as we were recording, we just hit 64K.
Yeah.
We opened the morning at like in the 58s. It's up. Yeah. It's up $6,000 in one day right now, basically.
Yeah. No, I think you'd be correct in saying that, some consolidation would be healthy, warranted, etc. However, I just keep thinking about the pools of money that are out there. And when you're talking about fractions of that, would send this thing like well north of 100 even. And so it's just like I get it. And when you think about like the short term,
what are we supposed to be like, guys? Please stop trading and let us catch our breath.
Please stop. Well, it's like, wait, like this is the ultimate fiat debasement hedge, and you don't really have it on for most people.
Put something on.
Yeah, and so it's like, and people's size, like. So here's what happens. It becomes convex in terms of the idea and the feedback loop, but also in terms of the assets it gathers as it gets bigger, because bigger pools of capital can now start engaging in it. When something like IBIT trades $1 billion a day, when the CME futures start to pick up tons of volume, right? And when there's broader acceptance among macro types that it's okay, right? It means that bigger and bigger pools of capital can now actually traffic in it comfortably. From explaining it to their investors, to boards, investment committees, et cetera, to actually genuinely
it's right at position size. I think you made the point in the past here that as the market cap grows and liquidity deepens, it can actually trade as an actual like direct hedge. Not like I'll put on $1 million or $10 million, but like, wait a sec, maybe I want to rotate out of like this government debt position into this Bitcoin, and we're talking $1 billion trades and stuff, which it's still a bit too small to like point and click on a screen at any moment. But as it gets bigger, bigger allocations become possible. I learned this point from you.
Yeah, it was so good. And the more big people come in, the more dip buyers there are, and like the higher this thing goes.
I know. What do you think about this? I've been making the point recently that I think that longtime crypto market observers will know this quite well, that there tends to be this rotational aspect to the crypto market.
Yeah.
December 17, Bitcoin all-time high. January 18, ETH all-time high. March alt season. And that can happen at the total bull run level, but it also happens like in little mini cycles as well. We saw it last fall. But part of my thesis about these ETFs is that they will dampen that intra-crypto rotation trade, because the Bitcoin so much of the Bitcoin will be in these ETFs. Maybe they're even more so if they're in advisor-managed accounts. They're not sitting on crypto exchanges adjacent to altcoins.
But I'll tell you that you're right on that point, that the wealth of the Bitcoin will stay in these margined accounts.
Yeah.
However, there is a broader wealth effect to these things. And so, everybody that has Bitcoin, like if it's doubled, right, like a small amount of cash moves alts around a lot.
Yeah.
And so you're definitely going to see the follow-on like rotations and stuff even now with the ETFs, because of just the wealth effect.
At least in repricing at a minimum.
Yes.
If not actual capital flow.
Correct. And what you have to also realize that prices get set at the margin. right? And so you don't need like an insane amount of marginal flow to take some of these like alts and
especially
other
if
things
you own
higher.
a bunch of alts and you most likely own some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so now you're just raising your offer.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
like, I'm not selling it for.
Yeah, I'm not selling
until
it
higher.
here. I don't feel the need to sell.
So even if the book's liquidity doesn't deepen from Bitcoin rotational inflows, just the bid ask goes higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic time to be in crypto.
This is going to be this is, I would say, the first, we've said it, as people who work full time in this industry several times over the last 6 months, since the Grayscale ruling at the DC Circuit Court of Appeals, but like we're back, and it felt like we were back. Today, I think, in my opinion, is the first day where I'm like, wait a second, I remember this feeling
coming back.
Yeah, I remember this feeling from the last bull market. I think it's important everybody stay humble.
Yeah,
I think it's important that look, this is on the back of no FTX, no crypto margined futures is at like its lowest point ever. A lot. CME is over 25% of the entire Bitcoin futures market is now cash collateralized CME. Right? These guys aren't posting, endogenous exchange tokens as collateral that are highly volatile.
I'm not putting FTT on there to buy Bitcoin.
Exactly. So it's healthier, but
it's just nice to have all these institutions, the credibility that comes with this.
Yeah, you're not crazy at all. I'm
not the crazy guy. You're not the crazy guy.
I'm going to a big conference in a few minutes. I'm going to a big conference to talk about the Bitcoin ETFs, and these are major TradFi allocators and investors. So, and it's I'm not an oddity to be invited at this point.
No, you might be the most popular guy there today. Showing up in your hoodie and the sneakers.
I'm going to put on a button-down shirt. That's the most I'm going to do, though.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Bimnet at BB from Galaxy Trading, as always, my friend. Thanks for coming on Galaxy Brains.